Fox News alert. We are awaiting a news conference at the top of the hour after Rolling Stone magazine retracted its widely discredited article published last November on an alleged gang rape at the school. Last night, the Columbia School of Journalism issued a scathing review calling the story a journalistic failure at every level. Rolling Stone's managing editor, Will Dana, released an apology saying, quote, "This report was painful reading to me personally and to all of us at Rolling Stone. It is also in its own way a fascinating document, a piece of journalism about a failure of journalism." Well, Deneen Borelli is the outreach director for Freedom Works and a Fox News contributor, and Judge Andrew Napolitano is a Fox News senior judicial analyst. Thank you both for joining us.
Good morning.
So, Deneen, the damage here is really incalculable, mainly because many people are saying that real victims are now going to be viewed with skepticism as a result.
No, you're right, and I could see why that would be the case. They would be afraid to come forward. But I find this a big failure of our journalist society. This was an activist journalist, basically, who was trying to drive home this point, and really the overall point from the left a lot of times is this war on women. And I think that is the point that she was trying to make, and she did not do due diligence. She didn't verify, she didn't talk to any of the accuser's friends. She didn't verify the alleged rapist's name. She didn't have any of that information, and I also fault the editors at this as well. They failed the country as well.
Well, yeah, the Columbia report makes it clear this wasn't just one person. There are supposed to be many people looking over an article like this and double checking that due diligence was done. Judge Napolitano, the next question is who could sue, who could be sued?
Well, one of the things she also didn't do was to name individuals who she said participated in the rape, and that is what creates a problem for any potential plaintiff. As the law now stands, there is no such thing as group libel or group defamation in the United States. There's only individual defamation. The reason for that law is to encourage journalists to write what they want and broadcasters to say what they want to say, because the First Amendment is intended to encourage open, wide, robust debate without fear of litigation. But sometimes the law is changed with particularly egregious situations, and this might be one of them. So if the fraternity were to sue, they run the risk of having it dismissed because the law says you can't defame a fraternity.
And they are considering suing, we should say.
Yes, but they also run the chance of getting the law changed because the facts in this case are so extreme. The writer and the publisher took no effort whatsoever to verify the allegations, and the allegations were horrific.
Deneen, one of the things that the reporter says is that I didn't want to re-victimize this woman. You know, it is tricky to say to somebody, oh, come on, were you really raped? Really? No one wants to be in that position. Does she get, is that one of the reasons why the magazine hasn't fired her or anybody else?
Well, time will tell if they do fire her, because really public opinion should weigh in on this heavily. But I see this as liberal mob rule with the media and in the journalist society. Remember Ferguson, the whole hands up, don't shoot, which was all a lie, and the media ran wild with it. And that individual, Dorian Johnson, has yet to be held accountable because he's the one who basically started that. But I find the media doing a big disservice to our country. Why aren't we focusing on Hillary Clinton deleting the emails, which was evidence? You know, why isn't that something that's in the headlines today? Right. And when in fact they can't even do their due diligence with these accusations.
Yeah, pushing an agenda. Judge, as I mentioned, the fraternity already has announced that they are considering filing charges, filing a lawsuit, I should say. What about the University of Virginia? There was an accusation of a rape culture.
Well, the University of Virginia has two impediments to filing. One is that it is an entity, it's a group, and the other is it's owned by the state.
Right.
And typically, you can't defame the state. You can say anything you want about the government without fear of defamation. If the article had named individuals, we'd be talking an entirely different ballgame. Then the insurance carrier and carriers for Rolling Stone would be on notice. You're going to be dropping a lot of money. But because it didn't name individuals, the state can't be a plaintiff in a defamation litigation, and this fraternity can't, unless the courts in Virginia want to start a trend to change the law because the facts are so offensive here.
Right. The credibility, Deneen, of Rolling Stone, is it impacted by this?
Oh, I'm sure it is. And remember with the individual in the Boston bombing, how they basically glorified him by putting him on the cover of the magazine. But yeah, their credibility is at stake, and it will be even more so if there aren't any repercussions about what this individual did, how she reported this story.
All right.
I would think their credibility is zero after that report from the Columbia Journalism School that came out this morning. But yet people will still read this thing because they like to read salacious articles, even if they're not truthful.
Well, and things that reinforce their own worldview.
Yes.
Yes.
Whether or not it's even true. So again, Columbia is going to have their own press conference at noon today. It'll be interesting to hear. They're going to give more details, I guess, on their review of what Rolling Stone did or didn't do. Judge Napolitano, Deneen Borelli,
Thanks.
thank you both for joining us.
You're welcome.